So basically, for the lady that said you should be a dad to be the same lady that's stolen my son is the cruelest bit, I suppose. I was always an animal person. And I had like parrots and dogs and disabled lizards and all that. And the reason for that was that I was a stepdad for 12 years to 2 boys in my first long-term relationship. And when I met her, they were like 3 and 5. And when we split, they were like 17 and 18. And we had an amazing life together. It was great times. It's actually a weird story why it ended, but I'll tell that another day. And then a couple of years later, I met my son's mother. And who was also a mother of 2. She lived in Worcester. And in 2010 we met. And for the first year and a half, I was going up to Worcester and staying up there 3 or 4 times a week, and got to know her 2 boys who were basically the same age as the 2 boys that I'd begun being a stepdad with originally. So it's like home from home for me. Then like a year and a half later, she decided she wanted to move to London to live with me. And that's great. I welcomed her and her 2 boys with open arms, as it's just lovely. That's how I've always lived. Like I said, I've always lived with animals. My original missus couldn't have children naturally, so being a stepdad was what I thought I'd always be. And so being a stepdad again was normal. But she decided, and now this is the interesting thing, because I haven't said this before. She decided in 2012 to move down and live with me, but leave her boys in Worcester to live with the dad. And she's always claimed that was a selfless decision, because all their friends are in Worcester and their education is in Worcester. And obviously, she then come and lived in London with me, a decision she made. And she would go up and see her boys every, 3 weeks or something like that. Decision she made. And then she said to me one day, you should be a dad. And she was absolutely right. I was born to be a dad. When my son was born, it was the proudest moment of my entire life. I can honestly say, and I've said this throughout my whole life, that when my son was born, it's like I don't remember anything about my life before my son was born. He became the priority of my life. And me and his mother, who were never married, by the way, we actually split in 2015, but we only split because she suffers from anxiety. And I walked in one day and she said, I'm full of anxiety. I said, darling, what are you anxious about, man? But, people that suffer from anxiety understand it. They worry about a lot of things that I don't worry about. Anyway, I said, let's have a little 6-month chill out. I'll go up into the flat. She chose the flat. And then we even did the 2-house thing, like, all of a sudden we got 2 houses. So he didn't even know we'd split up. And me and his mum, from that moment, have been to every school event together. She's been on the school WhatsApp group for 7 years. We have never missed anything to do with my son. And for 7 years, as I used in evidence in court, bearing in mind she's claiming controlling and coercive behaviour as well, that for 7 consecutive years, she has told me where to go and what time to meet her. She's kept my seats for me. We always sat together, went to every football match, every rugby match. Our son was our priority. And I've always believed a real man, when he's got a wonderful son and a wonderful mother of that son, looks after both of them. I'm always happy to go without. I'll give you an example. They live in a beautiful home. I live in an apartment. She always had a brand new car. I had a 20-year-old Range Rover. Loved it. My son went to private school. I don't go out. And what I was trying to say is I'm happy to go without as long as they're happy. Because their happiness makes me happy. And so if you can imagine that was our lifestyle right up until the 15th of April 2022. In fact, I've shown you in videos here the months leading up to the 15th of the 4th, the text messages and the WhatsApp messages, where she's telling me about going to Brighton with her mum from school, showing me all the pictures, telling me where to meet her for football, where to meet her for rugby, the school assembly. And then on the 15th of 4th, 2022, she disappeared with my son back to Worcester. Now lives in her dead mum and dad's house and has cut me out of my son's life. simply for that. And all she had to do was say, Deano, I'm thinking of moving to Worcester with your son or our son. But she didn't do that, and I've just never got over why she didn't do that conversation. I know she doesn't need me anymore. She's now got a lovely house in Worcester, and she's got her parents' money. But you know, I wouldn't do 1% of the things that she's said and done against me since that date. And to this day, I've still never made any form of allegation about her or my son, nothing, because I just love them up to the 15th of April 2022, and no matter what she's up to, I just don't understand why she took my son out of my life, because whatever she's doing, she can do. She only had to talk to me about it. So to disappear and steal my son is the cruel bit, because everything was amazing, really. She just didn't tell me her dad died in March 2022, and, you know, rather than move into the house on April the 15th, 2022, as I explained in the chapter, it had all been refurbed for her. She done escape with my son. So anyway, that's why it's so cool. One day at a time, that's all we can do.
If you like Deano's stories and you want more, and you've got stories of your own that you want told, get in contact and we can sort something out.